Hi, I'm Chris, the Vintage Fly Fisher. Today I'm going to bring to you a book review, or two books to review, by an author, Lewis Reed. These are both first edition books in my collection that I prize very highly. One, I'm not sure where I ended up finding this one, but this one was a gift from a friend. Thanks, Andy. I know it's a little rough, but they are both first editions with the insides intact, which is very important on these because the tiles that have been drawn by Lewis are what are the valuable portions of these books, plus the information as well. So as we start, who is Lewis Reed, and a little bit of light info from the past. He was born in 1857 in England and immigrated to the United States at the age of 24. He was an artist who worked for a long time on several different things, but led up to poster work art in the 1890s, which led to him illustrating books in the 1890s through 1920 and different times. Now, what's important to me is he was also an avid angler. And one of the great things about this history and his placement, he was most popular for things of being the artist for first edition books that were released, like Robinson Crusoe, Swiss Family Robinson, Treasure Island, The Deer Slayer. You get the idea. He was the artist on some main huge books from our past history. But as an avid angler, he also wrote some angling books that are so popular. For angling, his most popular, it's really hard to see the embossing on this, and it is actually a very popular book from history, American Trout Stream Insects, from 1916. And this book is renowned for a couple different things. Anglers of the time really loved this book that he released for the information, but most importantly, he had a different theory for the first time in life on actually releasing. I have to be very careful here. Releasing these different, very neat, information bits and doing all of the neat artwork through his ability to write and draw. So as I move through, though, I want to show you some of the neat highlights from this book. And one of the things he's really renowned for was he believed no one was providing accurate color of insects at the time. So then he would actually provide a full color tile, and each of these insect drawings of his were of live insect coloration. He was the first one to take actual live renditions of the insect and draw them as close to color as he could. Now, not only does the tissue paper protect all of these beautiful fly plates, but it gives you an illustration numbered to each of these different insects. And this book, despite the outer cover is a little rough, the color on the actual tiles are amazing. And you can see that it was important to him to give you an actual lifelike representation, because he said none of the fish are actually eating the bugs after they die and have been shown you a representation tied of an insect that's dead. So now let's move on to this next plate. Is really neat. This is one of my favorite books of all times, the illustrations and how it ties to the actual insects, and also the name accordingly as you go through. But you'll notice here's a Dobson fly, crane flies, and he gives a good description on this other side. Now let's move on to, I thought it was important to show this part. So as a tyer as well and angler, he's given you a lot of different renditions of the insects But on this page, he not only have to be careful with the tissue on this one, he gives you the name, the date of rise, the time of day, weather, family, order. But then on this plate, he has given a black and white drawing of the actual insect, and then an actual black and white photo of the fly tied to represent each. Very, very neat. And the other illustrations in this book, even if they're just black and white, are really amazing. He is just next level on what it was at the time that we had. And it even shows some of his flies. So now that's the first one, the actual trout stream insects. The next book he did at the time, which this one's in much better shape. This one, I believe, was around 1920. Either way, first edition, and we'll go in here instantly and show. Again, he does a lot of information, ties it back to what he does, all of the different color plates and all of the different drawings that are in here. But now let's move on to one of the colored tiles. So as we go, the first one, the tissue paper to protect the color plate actually has the name of each of the fish or what he's wanting to describe. And then as we gently move forward, here's the color plate. And once again, all of these were taken from live specimens that he would draw, not the dead, paled out, where the color washed out from any of that people had representations before. And this is what fish would see if they were going to eat some portion of this in the water. They saw actual live representations. Now, it goes through, this is one of my next favorite parts here that I marked. Here's the tissue paper on top of, like it literally tells you right here, adult crawfish, a green leopard frog. And as I move forward, these, look at the beautiful coloring. Very amazing. And as you go through this book, of course, there's a lot of other tiles that he gives representations, drawings in black and white, even each of the markers on each of the chapters he did. But then let's go to this. This plate now, he tells what flies or lures would represent the prior insects and things that he's giving in this representation of game fish food. So then on this one, a brown and gray Maine streamer, or a tiny cricket grasshopper for brook trout. And here are all the color representations. Beautiful. So I'm glad he was an angler. He really shared with us some amazing items. This one, we're going to look at the green frog, the large crayfish. A very neat frog, articulated. Each of these representations. Now, as we go through, the information in these books still hold true today. It's really, really great as far as that goes. And let me even go back and look. I think this one is first edition. What a great picture. This one is first edition 1920. So, amazing book. Thank you, Lewis Reed. We want to remember him in history on his contributions to what he actually gave us for fly tying, actual true color insect or game fish food representations for what everyone was needing to actually match at the time. For all of us entomologists, if you ever get a chance, even in the later printings, to get to look at and read even his trout stream insects, this is the one that he's actually known for, and it is really an amazing book for all of us that are crazy fly fishermen and entomologists. So thank you once again. I hope you enjoyed this, capturing bits of fly fishing history, Lewis Rhead, and thank you again from the Vintage Fly Fisher. Have a wonderful day.